Yeah, we really appreciate you guys facilitating us. It's made such a big difference to
huge
our lives, really, at
yeah
the moment. It's really compounded what we want to do, and it's been a great opportunity for us.
It really has. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Today I'm speaking to writer, actor, director Evelyn Weldon and videographer and editor Matthew Thompson about their film Concrete Hands, which I've seen, and it's amazing. And it was commissioned by the Poetry Screen, a project which gives young artists access to the Poetry Archive's recordings, and commissions and showcases these films. And this year was our first year, and we ended up showcasing 5 films, which are all incredible, very different, and are available on the Poetry Screen YouTube channel. Highly recommend that you go and check it out. And Evelyn's film was called Dandelion, and it was responding to Letitia Barbauld's The Rights of Woman. And she describes it as a love letter to all the women who've experienced sexual violence, and focuses on life afterwards and ultimately on recovery. And Concrete Hands kind of picks up on some of those themes and goes on with them. So could you tell us what the film's about?
Concrete Hands is a woman's journey in finding herself after experiencing sexual assault, and I think it's something that's not talked about enough, and it affects hundreds of thousands of women, millions across the globe. In the UK particularly, it's 1 in 5 women experience some form of sexual assault in her lifetime, and making these films for me is a way in which I can reclaim what happened to me. And I want to make them so that other survivors can feel a shared comfort in our experiences, and so that they feel empowered in seeing real and true experiences on screen.
Yeah, exactly. Art is so much about reflecting experiences, and then, you know, a combination of catharsis, getting those, you know, feelings out for both yourself and for people who are, you know, engaging.
Totally, it's a healing experience for me, and I hope others that watch it can be that for them too.
Exactly. And can you tell me about the process of making the film?
Yeah, we were quite we were a little unnerved at the beginning because we were very happy with our first application, Dandelion, and we sat down and we decided that we wanted to sort of carry on from that. We didn't want to make something completely different, but wanted something that stood up in its own right. And so we were quite organized from the beginning. Evelyn made a very tight schedule.
Scheduling.
Yeah, there was a rota and everything. We wanted to spread our efforts evenly across the sort of the poem, the video, the audio, the editing, and just we didn't want to have something that you know, we just channeled a load of money into a like fancy video, or like we wanted it to be bigger and better in all the ways. And so, you know, our time was pretty well split, half and half. You know, at the beginning was very heavy on Evelyn. She took a few weeks writing the poem, and then storyboarding, and then sort of the middle bit is where we came together, sort of location scouting and shooting, and then towards the end, you know, was obviously very heavy for my stuff and editing and, you know, finishing it all off. But it was great. We loved it. Yeah. It was such a good process. We felt, yeah, we were waking up with a real strong purpose. Yeah, we didn't have any sort of time where we were like, oh, you know, what are we doing now? It was good. We ran a good project. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Sounds brilliant. And it's great that, you know, you're seems to be kind of bringing together lots of different skills, and that's one of the things about film, really, isn't it? It's an incredible medium to bring together these different aspects. Is this something that you've done before?
I have. I have done kind of filmmaking and acting and directing is my passion.
It's all very new to me. So I know my way around a camera, but that was it really. So we started making some videos for just little it was for sort of like training stuff, isn't it, for Bristol or Vic. We just made silly little videos at the beginning of lockdown and decided we really like making silly little videos, and they got a bit less silly and a bit better.
More serious.
Really did stuff like that, didn't it?
Yeah, so it's two extremes. I have no idea what I'm doing. Evelyn's very well trained, but it works really well.
Yeah, it really
That's
does.
great. I mean, it often starts that way, doesn't it, with something that's a bit kind of like casual or fun, and you just follow that, to where, and then to some place within yourself that you kind of find something meaningful. I think that's often the journey. And that's great. I mean, it is great that it's helped you. This project has helped you to break new grounds creatively and in terms of technical skills and experience, and that is really kind of what the project is about, encouraging.
I can't stress how much Matt has learned on the job and improved. It is insane. We sat down to start editing, and obviously we'd edited Dandelion, and Matt kind of leads it and I watch and put input, and Matt started editing Concrete Hands, and he's there like what's this stuff? And my mind was blown. I can't believe how much you've actually learned and improved in just a short space of time. It's amazing. It's
been great. It's great to have a reason to spend however long watching YouTube things and stuff around. Like, oh, what does this do? Like, it's just, I'm really in my element, just fiddling around with little bits like that. So it's been great to have an excuse to do that.
Yeah,
that's great.
I'm so
I think it's so important to have that reason, particularly as a young artist. It can be difficult without a reason. Never mind, of course, like the financial elements of trying to keep it going. But as someone who's independent, it can be really hard to motivate yourself and give yourself a focus.
Oh my gosh! Like we have been making stuff together and being creative before this, but just having the incentive of like, okay, right, we've been given this money now, we're gonna make a film and these people are counting on us. It was just great, and you can feel that real shift in your creative like push and passion when you've got a deadline to work towards or something that you've been
and when you're putting it into practice, it gives it a whole new light. You can sort of refine your skill in the dark on your own, but it's not until you sort of out into the light and actually have to do it under pressure and parameters and everything like that you realize how you actually work. And sometimes you just need that.
Feels great.
Yeah, exactly. You give it reality, bring it into the world, like you say. I mean, I think something that I love about poetry is that you're very if you think about like essence and form, right, it's very close to the kind of essence. It's kind of has this unreality and kind of an ease or immediacy. And you write poems, I mean, you can write poems straight away and there's something there, but film is almost the other end of the spectrum, because it does, like you say, require lots of planning and bringing together of things and bringing from ideas into reality. And it takes a certain type of effort and personality to bring that. So, we're really happy that we've been able to facilitate you to do that and to find that bringing it into reality, which is that often the hard part, right?
Yeah, you're so right. And it feels so good to take a storyboard and I'm awful at drawing storyboards. I do it every single time. And they're bad, but taking these storyboards and these little like scribbly pictures that I've drawn and then seeing them edited, colored, like with sound and poetry, and it feels really good to have that then realized and fleshed out.
And that's something that's good working together as well, is that it's very tempting at each stage to sort of get carried away with something else. And so you need each other quite often to to pull yourself in check before it
I can
starts
see
running.
Evelyn is very agreeing on this.
In the first like 3 weeks, I was sat at my desk writing every day, and every about like 3 days I'd have some sort of like creative artist breakdown. I'd be like, right, okay, we're going to do something else, I'm scrapping this idea. And Matt was just the constant like, Evie, no, you're gonna have to, that's not a good idea, you just carry on with what you've got.
Yeah.
And you really helped me to keep going in the direction that was the best.
That's good. Yeah, collaboration is really important. It's something, as you know, as poets and as artists and as musicians as well, from my own experience, it's very easy to get in your own, but like again, with it being in your head and your own reality, like the difference between art and just imagination is that it's something that's externalized and is shareable and visible. And that's the difficult process. I mean, thankfully you did manage to kind of give that reality, and you know, we're really lucky to be able to see that and both to see what you've produced and to hear about, you know, the process that you've gone through and what you as artists and creative and as young creative artists have learnt. So I guess the last question is, what next? Where do you go from here?
So Matt and I have formed a creative production team called Slaughter Shed Studio, and we're hoping to make more films. We're organising an event hopefully happening in October, which will be all about female empowerment, and we're going to be screening the films and having some other poets read their work about, you know, consent, feminism, all that jazz. Yeah, and we just hope to make more stuff.
And almost back with collaboration, it was great for us working with other people and being able to solicit proper help.
Yeah.
And particularly Evelyn's quite thinly spread, because poetry, directing, acting, everything. So, you know, help that she got from Sophie Grenfell, who did all the choreography for the movements.
Incredible.
Is so important for that second opinion.
Yeah.
And obviously Janssen did our score, and it is fantastic.
It's fantastic.
And we want to be able to keep working with people. You know, we want to continue that, don't we? Because it made such a big difference. I mean, just mentally having more people involved is a huge pressure off of us, and you know, just brings a whole new element every time. So I think we want to keep working with more people.
More young creatives as well.
More young creatives.
That's brilliant. I mean, we're hoping that with Poetry Screen to encourage that, because you know, when you're part of a group, you grow, and we do have a Facebook group, which is a place for collaboration if, you know, people want to join that and meet other young poets. And you can find the films on YouTube as well, on the Poetry Screen YouTube. You can find the showcase previous ones, and you can find Concrete Hands on there. And you have an Instagram?
Yes, we do. We are at Slaughter Shed Studio. Give us a follow.
I shall. Well, I mean, like I say, as Poetry Screen, really glad that we've been able to facilitate this, and just excited to see where you take it next. And thank you so much for being part of it. And thank you for speaking to me as well.
Cheers.
Thanks.